Oh, well, what are you going to do, huh?
Yeah.
Main ingredient here on the Tuesday morning as we get ready to welcome in spring here at lunchtime today. And with me this morning, as part of our schools program, we have a guest from Defiance College. I always look forward to this conversation every month. With me today is the Vice President of Enrollment Management and Student Success, and also what's the next part?
The Dean of Students
too.
Yes.
I didn't write that down on my list at the same time. When they give you a title and a job, they give you a title and a job, don't they?
Yes, I wear many hats with that title. Yes.
Lisa Marszalek is my guest here this morning, and we really love having you in here today. And it's going to be a lot of fun to chat about Defiance College, because you, in our pre-chat here this morning, you have a number of issues that have my interest piqued. How's that? Because I'm a yellow jacket at heart. How's that?
Yeah, great. Well, thank you so much for having me this morning. Very excited to talk.
Let's talk a little bit, first of all, so people around the area know kind of who you are and where you come from. You're actually a local girl, aren't you?
Yes. So we were just talking. I am originally from Holgate, New Bavaria, to be precise. But
New Bavaria.
Yes.
That's one of the suburbs.
That's right. The booming metropolis. But yeah, I graduated from Holgate and then went on to Ohio State for my education, worked there. Worked at Case Western in Cleveland, and then UT, and then I've been at Defiance College for the last 11 years.
Wow, that's quite the road to Defiance College.
Yes, I call it my tour of Ohio.
And what a wonderful tour it has been.
Yes.
How's that?
Yes.
You are a Buckeye, I can tell.
Absolutely, yes.
If I said OH, you would say
I-O.
Sure,
yes.
I knew I would get that out of you if I just asked, because when we talked about the Buckeyes and the Yellow Jackets, those are the two that you beam about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
The Case side of it was a good time, and you learned an awful lot, I'm sure. But at the same time, you are a Buckeye and a Yellow Jacket.
That's right. That's right.
Well, let's talk a little bit about how you got to Defiance College. Then, so you went to Ohio State. Mm-hmm. You started working at Ohio State.
Yep.
Okay. What were you doing at Ohio State at the time?
So my master's degree is in higher education and student affairs. So my first professional position was as a residence hall director at Ohio State. So I was in charge of Steeb Hall, which is at the corner of 11th and College, and was one block from 27 bars at that time. Doesn't look the same today because they've torn it all down, and now there's a Panera on the corner there. But it was an interesting time in the 90s. Very fun. I really enjoyed it a lot. So.
And what took you to Case then when you left Ohio State?
Yeah, when my husband is from Cleveland, so when we got married, I was the one that made the move, and so then we lived there for 8 years, and I was in student affairs at Case Western as well, and then after having a couple children, decided to move back to Northwest Ohio, so we've been back here ever since then.
The grandparents like to have the kids.
Yes.
I'll speak as a grandparent. How's that?
Absolutely, yes.
No doubt about that. So
yeah.
Thank you from all of of us grandparents, because it's always fun to have
You're very welcome.
our grandkids back closer to.
So, and I don't know if my mom's listening right now. I told her I would be on this morning.
Well, there you go. So there you go, Mom. I thanked her for you. How's that? You do have to put up with her, Mom, to be able to have the grandkids. So
that's right. That's right.
Oh, that's horrible. That is. And then what led you to Defiance from Case?
So moving back to Northwest Ohio, worked at the University of Toledo for a year, and that was a job just to get me back to Northwest Ohio, and then moved into career development at Defiance College, and then became the assistant dean of students, and then I've been a vice president for the last 4 years.
That's wonderful, and what a wonderful school Defiance College is. Anybody that's thinking about going to school, and for a number of folks around this area, they would like to stay close.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's
Yeah.
why Bowling Green, I think, is so popular. That's why Toledo's so
Yeah.
popular. And another reason why Defiance College is popular. A number of folks want to stay right here in their backyard.
Yep, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I do know you bring students in from all over the country because, you know, you had football players from North Carolina
Yep.
and Florida and all over the place, and you had students from all those same places, even out of the country, coming to Defiance College to go to school. But it is a neat little school right here tucked in our backyard.
Absolutely, and having worked at those larger institutions, I really have to say I have a special place in my heart for these small schools because I feel like you just have so much opportunity to be involved. You can be a big fish in a little pond, right?
Yes, yes.
And, you know, I enjoyed my days at Ohio State thoroughly, but as far as the rest of my career, I really see myself staying at small institutions because you can just impact the students so much more.
Yeah, you really can. I mean, I went to Ohio University back in the days when they were begging for students, okay, back in the 70s.
Yeah.
So, you know, for a guy like me, it was like,
Yeah.
you know, you don't look like you really qualify, but come on down, you know, be part of the Bobcat community.
Yeah.
But to get into a class that very first day with 350 other people,
Right.
okay, which is about the size of my entire graduating class at high school, that's an eye-opener for a youngster. You know, it really is.
It is. It is. And I mean, that's the beauty about higher education in our country. There are so many different types of institutions that you can really find the one that's a good fit for you. Because not everybody's going to thrive at a big school. Not everybody's going to thrive at a small school. You really got to find
Yes.
that fit. And there's lots of opportunities out there. So
There sure are. Now, you made an interesting point to me off mic in that you felt like Case and Ohio State had a lot of similarities, even though that is about the opposite ends of that spectrum. If anybody
Yeah.
knows much about Case Western, set it up for me just a little bit.
yeah, so that might sound strange with one being, you know, the largest public institution in the state and the other a very prestigious private institution. But at the heart of it, they're both research institutions. And so how the universities operate and their philosophy was very similar. And so when I made that move from Ohio State to Case, I got a lot of questions like, oh, you're coming from 50,000 to 10,000. It really didn't feel that different because they were both research type institutions. So.
Yeah, I never thought about
Yeah.
that.
A little bit different in terms of athletics, obviously,
Well,
but
yes.
that part was different.
And, you know, the irony in the whole thing is that I have a son who went to Case and now is at Ohio State teaching, and so I
Yeah.
can really relate
Yeah.
to what you're telling me at this
Yeah.
point in time because he's not a Buckeye. I got to tell you, he's a
Okay.
Hokie. Okay, he's a Virginia Tech Hokie.
His alma mater,
That's
right?
his alma mater,
Yeah.
and he catches a lot of grief, especially when the Hokies and the Buckeyes
Yes.
are playing football, basketball, name the sport. Okay,
Yes.
because he tends to be like his father, and he'll wear his Virginia Tech, you know,
In the sea of scarlet and gray.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
brave. That's very brave.
but it's fun, and it's, you know, whenever you can talk about college, I know it's a serious situation because you're paying a large amount of money to go get an education nowadays, and you have to be serious, and you want to
Yeah.
get that education, and you're hoping to get a great start in life and everything else. But you know, it's also supposed to be the funnest time
Right.
of your life, and that's what I kept
Right.
reminding my kids, because that is that time when you really do have the opportunity to experience so much, learn so much, that's not just between the binding of a book or on a computer even.
Absolutely, and they spend more time out of class than they do in class, and so we talk a lot about that out of classroom learning and learning those communication skills and
Yes.
how to get along with that roommate was very different than you, how to handle conflict, you know, how to present yourself. So yes, there's a lot of learning that takes place outside the classroom as well as in the
I've
classroom.
said so many times that I really think, and again, I wasn't the greatest student. I was not like my sons there. They fought to keep me in school more than anything else. But at the same time, I think I learned more outside of that classroom, just the things that you're talking about, you know. And
Yeah.
I think that's so critical for for a person that's 18 to 22 years of age to learn those types of skills along with the other education that they learn.
Well, and the friendships that they form are, tend to be lifelong. It's so great when we see our alums come back that are from the 70s and they've stayed in touch all these years. And so you never know if the guy living next door to you is going to end up being, a judge someday or a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, and you knew them back when they were 18, 19 years old. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or just an average guy or gal who's doing whatever they're doing. I have a lot of fun communicating with some of my OU friends. Yeah. And some have been very successful. And some have been every bit as successful, not monetarily, but in what they wanted to do. And it is fun. And those memories now that are 40 years old. Okay?
Exactly. Yeah.
Ooh, that's hard to say. You'll get there one of these days. You're getting closer every year. How's
Thanks for reminding me.
Well, you got a long ways. You're still a kid there, at this point in time. But it is amazing. To look back and think about some of the friends that you have had for that length of time, and who are still very good friends who you haven't seen them maybe for 10 years, and then you run across them for whatever it might be, and it's like you never left them. And that's the amazing part about some of the friendships that happen at that time of your life.
Absolutely.
All right, we are talking Defiance College today. We have not done that much yet. I understand that. With Lisa Marsalek, and we have to pay some bills. Lisa, how's that?
Okay.
That's part of how we keep this radio program going. We'll step away for just a minute. When we get back, we're going to get into the meat of the issues that Lisa and I will talk about. There are a number of things going on down at Defiance College right now. I'm sure you'll be interested in hearing all the things that are going on right after this time out here in the Q.
Stop in and see their showroom on Linden Street in West Unity, or phone today 924-5533. AJ Door in West Unity, where your garage door is our business.
And it's Tuesday morning. That means we're talking education here on the Q96.5 FM. And Lisa Marsalek was my guest here today from Defiance College. Lisa, I picked up a paper the other day, and man, sprawled right out across the front page pretty much was an addition at Defiance College, an athletic upgrade.
Yes.
That was exciting, being an old follower of athletics at Defiance College. Tell me what's going on down there.
Yeah, it is very exciting. We did the groundbreaking last week in the cold, but we had it. So we are doing renovations and an addition to our athletic facility. So the Wiener Center off the McMaster Gym will have an addition to support some of our new programs that are starting, which includes wrestling, which will launch in the fall, and then adding locker rooms, and then basically gutting and redoing all the current locker rooms. So there'll be state-of-the-art facilities for our teams there, and then there's a little bit of work on the senior football locker rooms too across the street. So very exciting, because it's been several years since we've had any athletic upgrades, really since the Smart Center was built, and so it's exciting to have some things happening there again.
Yeah, it is, and those locker rooms needed a little
yes. Well, and it's so important for the experience that our current students have, but as well as when you're trying to recruit prospective students to really show them that you have these great facilities and that they're going to have a good experience if they come to Defiance. So
it's really interesting because being an old guy like myself, I have a lot of conversations as to why college costs so much oftentimes.
Yeah.
And when you do look at all these improvements and upgrades that every school has to make to stay up with the next guy, okay, that's out there, there's a big portion of where that money goes, because you do have to have facilities that are as nice as Bluffton's or as nice as anybody else in the HCAC if you want to compete with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't stay stagnant. You have to constantly be innovating. But, having said that, I think one of the sort of myths out there about private colleges is the cost. And I think people don't realize that you don't pay the sticker price. It's kind of like a car. 99% of our students, I think, have some type of financial aid. And so there are merit scholarships as well as federal and state grants. And so when you break all of that down, we end up being pretty competitive with the BGs and the UTs. But you get a little bit different experience, more intimate experience, opportunity to do some more things than you would be able to at a big school.
Yeah. So, and I think that's an important point, especially for mom and dad if they're listening right now and they would think, oh gosh, I don't know, a private school, I can't afford that. But it really is a lot more affordable than what, as you said, the sticker price is on that
absolutely.
You can always hear.
Yeah,
which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I know you're still Defiance College and most of the D3 schools still have a number of student athletes that are involved. I remember when we were involved that it was more than 50% of the students that were in athletics at the school at that time.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that because we just looked at our recent data last week, and for our total student body, we're running close to about 60% that are student athletes. So it is a big draw for them. These are not students that are ever going to go on to D1 and to professional sports, but they like playing their sports. It enhances their experience. There's a lot of great skills that you develop from being on a team that translate into the workplace. Many employers look for college athletes to hire because they know they have that discipline, that sense of team, maybe, captains, that leadership experience. So it really does enhance their academic experience.
It really does.
Yeah, and at Division III, they are truly scholar athletes, because one of the things people might not realize is there are no athletic scholarships in Division III. So they are there on their academic merit, and then they're doing the sport because they love it, not because it got them a scholarship.
And you know what? It is still, and I watched, like everybody else, I watch all the college basketball, the NCAA tournaments going on right now. But those games that we used to get to do with Defiance College and Hanover and some of the other rivals that would come into town were every bit as good, if not better, than what you see watching CBS or True TV or TNT with all the folks who are there on a full scholarship to play just that sport.
Yeah. Rivalry games and rivalries are big no matter what division you're in and whether you're on TV or not. Those are exciting games to participate in.
And the ladies, for anybody that will question this, the ladies are a lot tougher and meaner than the guys. Bottom line. Okay.
They hold their own. I'll say they hold their own. Yes.
You bet your life they do.
Yes.
It was always fun to watch them because you think of the men being competitive and everything else, but boy, I'll tell you what, there was no stepping back for the young ladies that play, and we do Albion now. It's the same way up there. It's just so much fun to watch the effort that they put into it.
Yep, absolutely.
And when you watch that much effort on the court, I can see why an employer would say, you know what, that person is really hustling, and then you talk to them. And they're well spoken, and they're very polite, and they're very organized, and everything else. Let's hire that person. So I can appreciate that entirely, no doubt about that. You have something, as we keep it in the sports side. We're going to get into esports this fall. Tell me about that.
Yes. So this might be a new term for people out there, but esports is competitive gaming, video gaming. and it will become a varsity sport for us in the fall. This is the up-and-coming thing. Colleges are adding this every day, so we took a look at it, and there's a lot of interest. And so basically, you compete in teams of 5. There are many different games. We will be focusing on the PC games as opposed to the console games. So League of Legends is probably the most popular one in the world right now that we would be looking at adding. There are some first-person games as well. There's Hearthstone, Rocket League. So I know most of this because I have teenage sons, not because I play myself. And so you can have unlimited numbers of teams of 5 for each of these games. And while you have some upfront costs to outfit, a room and computers, it's really easy to manage once it's up and running because they don't travel. It's all done virtually. But for example, League of Legends, it's a strategy-based game. And so you're still getting that team aspect. There's still a coach that's coaching you and working towards that. And it's very cool. They can win scholarship money.
Really?
Yep. So it's, like I said, it's booming at the college level, and high schools are starting to add this as well. So
the basis behind it. I mean, okay, now you could, because you if you say that, and anybody listening right now says, "Oh gosh, now we got them playing video games at school," you can hear that right now. But what is the value to this whole process?
Yeah, so again, it's about learning how to strategize, learning how to work in a team. As we've talked to some other schools that have rolled this out in the last 2 years, they have described how many of their more introverted students, how this has really helped them come out of their shell because they leave their room and they go to practice and they're part of a team and they're interacting and being more social than they normally would. And so, and it attracts people from all majors. You might think, oh, it's the computer science or the engineering majors, but it attracts people from all types of academic interests.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's truly amazing to think about.
Yeah. So one of the schools we talked to, they're on track to have 100 students participating next fall.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, will this eventually be an HCAC event? I mean, you think you're competing in the conference?
That's funny. It is not an NCAA sport at this time, but they are absolutely talking about it. And, you might think that they might want to get their hands involved in that at some point. But for now, it is not regulated by the NCAA. So we can actually offer scholarships. So we do have a scholarship that we're offering for new students for the fall. If they're selected to participate. So,
that is amazing.
Yeah. So that's very exciting. It's
staying on the cutting edge.
Absolutely.
I love it. That is amazing. Yeah. All right, let's get it off of the sports just a little bit, because I know you have a McMaster's program that everyone in the area is very proud of.
Yes.
And some very special events coming up for that here shortly, too.
Yeah, so this happens to be the 15th anniversary of the founding of the McMaster School for Advancing Humanity. So there'll be a big celebration in the fall, in October. But in April, we have our annual McMaster Symposium and Academic Colloquium, where we get to highlight all of the great academic work that our students are doing, as well as the learning communities who've traveled abroad to Cambodia, Belize, Panama, etc. They get to showcase their work. And so it's a very exciting day. We've started the last couple of years to model it as a professional conference. So you have to register. The students have to wear professional dress. You pick which conference session you're going to really give them that experience of what it would be like to, attend a professional conference. We're also piggybacking that on the admission side. It's a visit day for prospective students as well. And so we've sent out to all the area schools, anyone, grades 9 through 12 that has an interest in coming and checking us out, particularly focusing on, the honor students, since this is our academic showcase. And so that's a visit day, and anyone who comes to visit that that day will get to participate in that colloquium as well. So it's a
is
big day.
Mrs. McMaster still with us?
She is. Helen is still with us. So
I couldn't remember her first name, but she has to be 90 something.
She's up there, yeah,
right?
and she's still going strong. It's amazing. Yeah.
For anybody that is not familiar with that family and that name, could you give them just a little synopsis of who the McMasters really were as a family?
Yeah.
Or are still in her case?
So they're actually a Toledo area name too, because I live up in Toledo, and so there's a whole McMaster wing of the library there, and so prominent businessman, and he I believe was a first generation college student at Defiance College, and years later recognized the impact that small school had on his life, and they made this endowment to start this McMaster School for Advancing Humanity, which the focus is exactly what it says in the name, is how do we improve the human condition, both abroad and locally. It's well known for our travels abroad and working with third world countries. One of the new things we've done this year is we have a local initiative that has started with the Independence Education Center. So we have students working in our own backyard now as well. So.
And what do they do?
So they're working with the students there. Many of the students there are on behavioral plans or individual educational plans, and so they've not had success in the traditional K-12 environment, and so they're working with them on social skills, interacting with others. We brought them to our campus to do a field day last year, and so it really just got off the ground this year and will continue to grow, but it's something that we're very excited about, helping people in our own backyard and improving their lives. So.
Yes. Because I know you have your initiatives out of the country as well.
Exactly, yeah.
Which has always been something that students at Defiance College have looked forward to.
Yes.
Hard to imagine that you would look forward to going to basically a third world country with no running water and no no electric lights, and helping them step up that lifestyle and have those things. And live for a couple of weeks basically in abject poverty.
Absolutely. And that's one of the amazing things about our students. For many of them, sometimes that's the first time they've even been on a plane, and they're traveling to, Belize, to the jungle, or Cambodia. But they have that passion and that drive to serve. And so that's where their motivation comes from. But then, as we talked earlier about out of classroom experiences, they gain so much from that experience that it makes them so competitive when it comes to applying to graduate and professional school, and again, getting those jobs, because they have this whole piece that they can talk about how they did this research, implemented this project, really stepped out of their comfort zone, and that stuff really helps you stand apart when you're applying to grad school or for a job. So it's very cool stuff.
That is definitely stepping out of your comfort zone.
Absolutely, yeah.
When you're fighting the bugs and the venomous snakes.
Yes.
Nothing. That's not the part of my comfort zone that I want to step out of.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah.
But for the hundreds now of students that have since this has started, it's been a wonderful experience.
Yeah, it's life-changing for them.
It has been.
Yeah.
Every student that I ever talked to, and we were fortunate enough to be around several of them in our time with Defiance College, they would not trade that experience for anything.
Yeah.
Anything. They loved it.
Yeah.
They really did. And so that day it's coming up when? Because I know it's open to the public.
Yeah, April 12th.
Okay.
So the keynote is usually the night before, but then Thursday, April 12th during the day.
Okay. So mark your calendars if you'd like to be part of the McMaster Symposium this year. It is. I think they do have to let you know they're coming.
Yep, there is a registration form online.
Yes, but past that, there's no charge.
There's no
you
fee.
get to be part of it, and it really is a wonderful event if you haven't been to one.
Yeah.
All right, it's time to pay some more bills. 20 minutes before 10 o'clock, as this hour is just zipping by here. I have with me right now Lisa Marcelik with the Defiance College, and we'll be back to talk about some things that are right in front of us here at the school when we return here on the schools program on a Tuesday morning.
bedrooms or a larger yard. Maybe a separate living room.
And we're back to wrap up our education program today with Lisa Marcelik from Defiance College. And Lisa, let's talk a little bit about the summer camps that are coming up. Today's the first day of spring, so summer's right around the corner. Tell me a little bit about what's happening this summer.
So always we have athletic camps in the summer for junior high, high school, even our younger kids, the little dribblers. So boys basketball, girls basketball, volleyball, etc. They all have week-long camps in the summer. All that information can be found on our athletics website. There's a tab at the top called camps. One of the academic camps I wanted to mention, because I think it's pretty cool and pretty unique, is we have a camp called the Detectives of Defiance.
Okay.
It's a crime investigation camp. So we have majors in criminal justice, forensic science, and digital forensic science. So this camp is for high school students going into grades 10 through 12 who maybe have an interest in one of those fields as a career, as a major. And so they get to come to the campus for 3 days, stay in the residence halls, and we set up a mock crime scene, basically. And they get to work through it from the angle of each of those different majors. And so they get to learn a little bit about the major, see if that's really maybe what they want to do, but get some hands-on real-world experience of what it would be like to be a professional in one of those programs. So it's pretty neat. That's June 21st to the 24th. And the early bird deadline for that is April 1st. But we take applications until it's full. So
okay, all right.
And that you can find that on our website as well. But that's a pretty unique one.
That is a very unique program.
Yeah,
and it ties right into the forensic program that you have at the college, which is very well respected. Yes. Yeah, that's fun. I don't. Again, that's another one of those things that I don't know why anybody would want to do that. But there are people that want to do that.
And we need people to do that, right?
We sure do. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. I'm just not the perfect person to do that.
Yeah. so and we're unique that we have all three of those majors.
Yes.
A lot of schools might have one or two of them, but not typically all three. And so there's a lot of crossover where that you can take classes within each of those programs as part of your major or add on a minor in the other field. So it's pretty neat.
And I will also say there are a number of jobs that pay extremely well in that field, but that just that doesn't crank my tractor, as they say. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Would not be
Yes.
my perfect fit. I'm doing what I need to do, so let somebody else do what they need to do. Right?
Yes.
That's what my mom used to tell me all the
Right.
time. Put
Right.
your nose out of that.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a whole lot of fun over the summer for kids. And again, it really anybody in our listening area is eligible to come in. It's
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
no problem
Yep.
whatsoever if you feel like that might be a good spot. And,
Yep.
and if you have a young athlete, I know working with the coaches before, what a great situation
Yep.
for the youngsters to be able to get in and work with a college level coach. Nothing against the high school coaches out there, but to step it up one
Yep.
more notch. And when you do go up to that college level, whether it's a D3 or a D1, I mean, there is another level of expertise just like anything else.
Yeah, and the kids have a lot of fun. I brought my son to the basketball camp for years, so
Yeah.
he really enjoyed it. So, and actually, he might be attending this Detectives of Defiance camp this year as well.
Well,
so.
there you go. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll give
yeah.
him something to do in the summertime.
Yeah.
Mom and him can bond and drive over.
I don't know how much I'll see him.
Probably not a lot.
Yeah.
Now, the Empty Bowls program, I think a number of
Yeah.
folks are familiar with that one. That was always something near and dear to my heart because for anybody that doesn't understand that, give us a little background first of all, and then let's talk about how it went this year.
Yeah, so Empty Bowls is put on by the students in our social work program, and it is a fundraiser to help with hunger and homelessness. And so all of the proceeds go to the Path Center every year. And so we have actually a local guy here from Bryan that makes
Yes.
the bowls. Is it Brandon Knott, I think
Brandon
is
Knott,
his name?
yes,
Yep.
yes.
So he's been making the bowls for us, and we sold over 600 bowls. They actually, I think, ran out this year.
Okay.
So you get a bowl, you have soup, bread. It's a very minimal meal. And so most of the funds then are able, the food is all donated, and so the funds are then able to go to support the Path Center. And I've heard, the announcement hasn't come out yet with the total amount, but I've heard it may be the biggest one we've ever had in terms of how much we're going to be able to donate to the Path
wow.
Center. So the students did an amazing job, and the community is always very supportive of that event. So.
And you spend your money, you get to take your bowl home with you.
Yep.
I have several bowls at my house.
Yep. I have a collection now over the years.
And we're proud of Brandon Knott and the work that he does. And then his mentor was Steve Smith,
That's right.
who for a number of
was
years,
art
because he's
faculty.
an old dude. He's one of those old professors that you hear
Yep.
about all the time. Okay, basically did wonderful things down at Defiance College for a couple of decades.
Yeah.
And now is retired and gumming down his Jello if he's listening to me out there right now at this point in
You
time.
might hear from him later.
That's a possibility, but he's got it coming. Trust me. Between
Yeah.
the two of us, he'll pay me back. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about that. But
Yeah.
that has been such a great program because you always the little bowls you take home are perfect little soup bowls, cereal bowls,
Yep.
whatever you're going to use them for, and the money that's raised is always it goes to such a wonderful cause.
Yep,
So I'm really happy that this was a good year for you this year.
Yeah, and again, amazing thing is it's all student led and student driven.
Yes.
So it's great.
They really do a wonderful job. Commencement's coming pretty soon. Hard to imagine, but this year's about over.
Yeah, we have about 6 weeks left in the semester. I call it the mad dash. Once we get back from spring break, it goes fast. So commencement is Saturday, May 5th.
Wow.
So it'll be here in the blink of an eye.
Oh,
so,
boy, it sure will be.
Yep, and we have that over in the Wiener Center. It's
Mm-hmm.
a combined baccalaureate and commencement ceremony, and so that's probably one of my favorite days of the year.
Yes.
Not probably, it is, because it's the culmination of everything we do.
Yes.
And it shows they've been successful and they're ready to take on the world.
Yeah.
So, and all the happy families are there, smiling and beaming, proud of their children. So it's a fun time.
Now, if you take it back 40 years ago, it was the happiest day for all my professors as well, but only for a different reason.
Yes, well,
We're going to
know.
get rid of this guy. Yeah, Jim was here. Oh, gosh, it's good. Finally, yeah, congratulations. Now move on.
No, we miss them all
I
when
know
they
you
leave.
do. And, well, that was just me.
Okay.
That was my personal problem back in the day, and it is a wonderful day, and it's boy, May the 5th will be here before you know it.
It
You are
really
correct.
will.
Now, before I let you out of here, you have an event going on tonight as well.
Yes, we have, and open house tonight for our redesigned Masters of Arts in Education program. So any teachers who are out there locally, you may have heard about this. We'd invite you to attend. As everyone knows, the Ohio Department of Higher Education is constantly changing their requirements for teachers and additional, credits that they need to earn. So this program was redesigned this year to meet the current standards for teachers that need to get additional credits. And so it's a 33 credit hour degree that you can complete in 5 semesters. So tonight from 4 to 6 is the open house. Our faculty will be there to talk to you and answer any questions. And we're really excited to get this launched for the fall.
Wow. Sounds like a whole lot of fun. And again, anybody listening to us at this point in time that has an interest, more than welcome to show up tonight.
Yep, it'll be in the Sarek Center. If you do want to RSVP yet this afternoon, you can email Teresa Watkins at twatkins, TWATKINS at defiance.edu, or just show up at 4 o'clock and we'll be happy to have you.
They'll take care of you. No problem whatsoever. It's always a lot of fun going down to Defiance, and it's always a wonderful time to have anybody from the college to stop by and chat with me. It's amazing how an hour goes by.
It went really fast. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Kathy Punches basically pulls your name out of the hat.
It was my turn.
Yeah, and you think, oh, man, I got to go do this and a whole hour on the radio. Man, this is going to be tough. So hopefully we made it as easy as we possibly could.
No, it was quite enjoyable. I appreciate you having me.
Well, thank you for being here. Lisa Marcelik has been our guest today with Defiance College. So many good things going on down there. Your website, if somebody wants to just go up, let's mention that one more time, because all the information they'd like to have about any of these programs.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's just www.defiance.edu.
There you go. Makes it simple.
Yeah.
Lisa, thanks for being part of this today.
Thank you.
Good luck with everything over the spring and the summer. That'll wrap it up for us today here on the education program on a Tuesday morning. Just you and me and classic hits from this point on until 1 o'clock this afternoon right here in the Q, 96.5 FM.